Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we will look at the for loop. In Java, we have three types of loops: the while loop, do while loop, and now the for loop. Often you write a loop in the following common form. Here is I as a control variable. You have initial value, and now test this I is less than the end value. Inside the loop, you increment I by 1. So this is very common. It's also a common mistake, and people forget this: increase the loop control value. We can use a for loop to simplify it. This is the for loop. You have all the essential control components put together in one line. So this is the initialization, and here is the condition, and this is the action performed after each iteration. And then this is the essential code in the body of the loop. So this is the for loop. For loop has these three parts. For the first time, it doesn't look intuitive, but if you write the code for a couple of weeks and you get used to it, you begin to like it. It's actually a better way to write it, the loop. It avoids some common errors. And this is the syntax in general. Here you have the three parts, and the first part is called initial action, and the middle part is loop continuation condition, and the last part is action after each iteration, and they are all separated by semicolon. And this is the flow chart, and here is the initial action is executed once and before you get into this loop, and this is the loop continuation condition. If it's true, execute the body and then perform the action after each iteration and go back to test the loop again. So this is the flow chart, and you can watch this animation.
A for loop flowchart animation. The count time is 3 in the flowchart. You may set it to any other value.
I'm going to change the count value to 1.
The statement initializes I to 0. I is now 0. 0 is less than 1 is true in this case. The loop body will be executed. The loop body is executed. I is increment by 1. I is now 1. 1 is less than 1 is false in this case. The loop is finished.
Now the loop is finished.
The next statement after the loop will be executed.
So this is the code animation for using this for loop. I'm going to change this to 2 now.
The loop initial action is performed once to declare and initialize I to 0. The loop continuation condition is tested. Since I is 0, I is less than 2 is true, the loop body will be executed. The loop body is executed to display welcome to Java. The action after each iteration is now executed to increment I by 1. The loop continuation condition is tested. Since I is 1, I is less than 2 is true, the loop body will be executed.
Now execute the loop body.
The loop body is executed to display welcome to Java.
And after this, execute the action after each iteration.
The action after each iteration is now executed to increment I by 1.
And now go back to test the
The
condition.
loop continuation condition is tested. Since I is 2, I is less than 2 is false. The loop is finished.
It's finished. We'll execute the statement after the for loop.
The loop is finished.
let's look at this example here. Do the following two loops result in the same value in sum? Now, the difference between the two is here, plus plus I plus plus. Now, they are the same because this is in isolation. This is the statement. It's after you finish one iteration, you come back to execute this. It's a statement. So this is the same here. Now, if you write the code like this without putting this loop continuation condition here in the middle part, and by default, this is true. So this is like, it's always true executing this, the body. You must always have the three parts and they can be empty. So there's three parts, they're separated by semicolons. Now look at this. It's not real nice code, but it's legal. You can write it, and it's this. See, look, I have a comma here. Now you can have this part, the initialization here, and so this is ending with the semicolon, but before the semicolon, you can have a comma. Here is initialize I is 0, and this J is 0. Now also this part here is, you can have multiple statements here. They're separated by comma, I++ and J++. That is all for this section, the for loop, and we'll look at more examples of using for loop in the next section.